Now, I've said this many times, more than I can even count, but The View is by far the most vile program on live television, and I think that the majority of you out there will agree with me on that one. We got hosts like Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Whoopi Goldberg, who are nothing more than political talking heads, hired by the Walt Disney Company, hired by ABC, to push that overall political narrative onto the general public, to now it's actually at a point where they are dealing with an active, ongoing ratings disaster that is nothing more than an emotional roller coaster for a lot of ABC executives as we speak toward the tail end of this year, and exactly why the Walt Disney Company to this very day is actually still dealing with a very bad stock situation. It's been quite erratic over the past couple of months, but interestingly enough, the whole Epstein subject is actually beginning to go out of control for a lot of media personalities out there, for a lot of Hollywood celebrities out there, especially after Bill and Hillary Clinton actually disabled and deleted various comments related to Jeffrey Epstein on social media, and how even Trump came forward and made that revelation that Biden had suppressed and censored subjects related to Epstein throughout his entire presidency. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, as of right now, we know that Sunny, Whoopi, and Joy, they are dealing with a lot of heat from the general public, and for valid reasons out there. They've been openly mocking the general public. They've been attacking their own audience for actually waking up and beginning to see the truth, that they are nothing more than just a couple of liars on live television. And that's exactly how bad The View has gotten right now, to the point that even their own long-term loyal fans out there that's been along with them for many years are now beginning to actually walk away in droves. Now, interestingly enough, alright, with the hosts of The View, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin, getting tons of backlash over their recent comments about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton's recent suspicious social media activity that they defended, one major development going on now involves more to do with how the hosts of The View were recently humiliated in front of a live crowd, where they were called out and mocked, not just in the street outside of the studio responsible for airing The View, but also by some of the audience members inside of the studio before the taping went live on the air. Now, the lead up to all of this involved how, as Sunny, Whoopi, and Joy arrived with their transport to enter into the studio, there was around 100 people or more waiting for autographs to be signed, all lined up outside of the studio. This is a mixture of those waiting in line to be part of the show and also those that just happened to be on the street as well. Now, once Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny started signing autographs, there was a very loud group of around what was reportedly 30-some people calling the host of The View multiple names by shouting liars, hypocrites, and phonies in the open. This is, of course, then when it escalated to a point where some asking for autographs started questioning Sunny Hostin specifically why she thought it was okay to call Trump a liar about his recent claims of Joe Biden suppressing the truth related to Epstein during his presidency and the connection to Bill Clinton as well. Same questions were asked by people to Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, to the point that they appeared very frazzled and annoyed and even worried at times, and speed-walked into the studio and went into hiding for various minutes, of course. Now, we know one thing about this for sure is that, to make matters worse, for the host of The View, is that even inside the studio, some audience members heckled Sunny Hostin, specifically to tell the truth about Epstein and his connections with various public figures, including Bill Clinton. The situation got so out of hand before the taping went live on the air that Sunny Hostin and the rest of the hosts like Joy and Whoopi were escorted by security behind the stage and off the set, where security then actually got involved and actually escorted those audience members afterwards out of the studio as well. Now, once the taping of the most recent episode was finished, Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny, get this, were briefly seen exiting the studio in disguise into their black SUVs, where people waiting for autographs started begging for questions related to Epstein and their views on it. This is when Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny were seen practically running into their vehicles, dodging all questions related to Epstein and others, like Bill Clinton and Joe Biden. ABC executives are reportedly very worried about the ongoing backlash toward the host of The View after they excessively called Trump a liar about when he actually called out Biden and actually said that Biden had suppressed information about Epstein during his presidency and connections to both Bill and Hillary, and how this brought down ratings to a record low for ABC and the Disney company. Now guys, let me say one thing about this before I move on. Now, we know that The View, as of right now, where it stands, they are in a very troubling situation where you have people like Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, and Whoopi Goldberg, who, regardless of the ratings disaster, regardless of the amount of backlash that they are getting right now, are continuing to double down on their political agenda, and they don't really care if it drives down ratings. They don't really care about their bad relationship right now with ABC executives. I mean, that's exactly how bad it is over at ABC, is that there is a lot of, very tension moments going on right now. Tensions are rising between Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny and ABC producers, ABC executives, the entire team there, and how much they have actually been the cause to why the ratings is actually not looking too good right now for The View as we enter into 2026 as well. Now, one thing about Sunny Hostin is that she is the one that started this all. You guys may recall a couple of weeks ago, she's the one that brought up the whole Biden situation, the whole Bill Clinton situation on social media and everything that there was in connection with Jeffrey Epstein, and how she called Trump supporters MAGA, and specifically calling them the MAGA cult, and calling Trump all these different names, including a liar, etc., etc., when he actually did make that revelation that Biden, yes, actually did censor a lot of information about Jeffrey Epstein on sites like Facebook, Twitter at the time, and more, about the whole Epstein files and the Epstein case. Now, moving onwards, as of now, ABC is attempting to develop a new protocol to prevent future hecklers both in and outside of the studio. Now, I don't care what anyone says out there, but when you look at a company or a studio like ABC, in this situation, I don't think there's anything that they could really do to prevent the hecklers from coming forward. This is becoming a bigger thing than usual. It's becoming quite the norm where they actually find themselves, caught in the middle of a situation where they have either hecklers outside of the studio or inside of the studio just before or after the taping takes place. And it's becoming more and more common because now you're having a lot of longtime loyal viewers of The View either walking away or changing their tune on how they actually see Sunny, Whoopi, and Joy as media personalities. Instead, now they see them as nothing more than political propaganda opportunists on live television, right? But we know one thing about this for sure is that when you're looking at ABC and Disney, they are dealing with a lot of trouble right now. I mean, when it comes to their live broadcasting shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live, Good Morning America, and in this case with The View, it's not looking good at all, and it's most certainly not looking good for some of their other departments out there. Some of the other major motion picture, opportunities that have failed in their view. And look, they've dealt with a lot of box office failures over the years, a lot of ratings disasters on television and more, on streaming, I should say, with Disney Plus, and they're trying to recover from that. And so far, it's not looking good. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Sunny, Whoopi, Joy, and the whole Epstein subject and more, and everything else related to everything else related to Bill Clinton and Biden and more. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.